Warning, this video is super important. You guys, again, have been duped by really bad advice. Yeah, and it's an important mineral. We need to talk about it right now. Welcome everyone to my humble life, because people don't like when I say humble channel, but that's okay because the life is very humble. Let's get right on into the subject about iodine. Now, I've done videos before about the Lugos iodine, sort of like the element scam, and now we've got the Lugos scam. A lot of gurus are pushing iodine, potassium iodide in the drops. Put it in your coffee, put it here, put it there. But what you don't know is that you are at risk to blow out your thyroid, create nodules, cancer. But really what's most common with people that I've witnessed develop by taking the Lugos potassium iodide is hyperthyroidism. Yeah, hyperthyroidism. So a lot of people don't know the difference between hyper and hypo. Now, you remember Wendy Williams, she had Graves' disease, hyperthyroidism. It is so easy to flip around your thyroid hormonal production, but her eyes would bug out, and she had this very pushed out ocular pressure that made her eyes very buggy, because she was chronically in a state of hyperthyroidism. Yeah. And it's very, very dangerous to develop hyper over hypo. You don't ever want to have a thyroid problem, but you definitely don't want to develop hyper. That's more dangerous. So let's get more into this whole thyroid stuff while doing these low-carb diets and getting bad advice, of course. Why the low-carb community pushes iodine so much, I don't know. Quite possibly because most of the women that I coach are hypothyroid. They don't produce enough T3. Their T3 is low. Their TSH is high. So let's go more into those details. All right, so your thyroid is right there. It's in your neck. It's a butterfly shape. Let's get more into it. Typically, it's just women that develop some type of issue with their thyroid, but now I see a lot of the men that I coach are also having thyroid issues. Now, the thyroid is going to produce hormones in the thyroid that help you lose weight, gain weight, feel cold. If you have a functioning thyroid, you won't feel cold. But if your thyroid's jacked up, you're going to feel cold hands, cold feet, a sensation of feeling cold. Your hair can thin, you can gain weight, you feel tired. You can feel very, if you develop Hashimoto's, you can feel just very much like you got fingers are zapping, your head zapping. You feel out of sorts, restless. You feel terrible. Hyperthyroid is when everything's sped up. So you have too much thyroid hormone being produced, and you're hyper, you can't put on any weight at all, and it's very dangerous. Even though it sounds appealing, like, oh my God, I don't put on any weight, that's great, let's just make me hyperthyroid. No, you never want to be hypo, but you never want to be hyper. The body produces T3, T4, and T3. T4 is inactive. It has to be converted into T3, and then it's going to go and connect to a binding protein, swim to a cell, and then go into the cell and regulate your freaking temperature, regulate pooping, regulate losing weight, feeling balanced, having mental clarity. It's going to do all those things, keeping your hair from falling out, because basically when your body's stressed out, all those symptoms and functions slow down and stop. Not stop, but they slow down, like hair growth or being able to have a bowel movement. That's how you know. Skin gets dry. You feel terrible. Can't lose weight. You don't have to have all the symptoms. You can have like one or two of them and still be hypothyroid. But Lugos, before I go into a whole thyroid lesson, because that's not what this video is about, let's talk about Lugos. Because a lot of you are taking it and it's dangerous. Now, typically in nature, we can get our iodine from seafood, primarily eggs. Some small amounts are in salts, sea salts. But the problem today is people don't eat those foods. They're eating processed foods, so their diet is very much devoid of iodine, this mineral. Very important for the thyroid to make the hormone so you don't get fat and tired and crazy and all this stuff. Feeling out of sorts and out of balance. The problem is that when you guys stress out your body because you're fasting, you bought into the fasting lie, you're eating too much protein, you're not in ketosis. Now the body doesn't have gasoline to drive the car. So it's going to go into the adrenal system, which is connected to the thyroid. It's called the HPA axis. So it's the hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal, and thyroid axis. They all talk to each other. So when you are not having any gasoline in the tank because somebody told you that you were going to experience autophagy, fasting, don't even get me started with this lie, garbage. Okay, we are not the bodies of our hunter-gatherers, nor lifestyle, nor gut. You're stressed, you don't sleep well, you're toxic, you have leaky gut, you don't absorb things very well, and then you fast. And you're not in ketosis. So now the thyroid's taking a hit. Well, the adrenals take a hit, then the thyroid takes a hit because it's regulating your energy. So it tries to slow you down, right? You stop being able to convert T4 into T3. You're not getting enough thyroid hormone into the cells to have all that energy. Slow down. Let the body repair. Eat the right foods. Rest. Sleep right. Don't fast. And allow thyroid hormone to be produced normally again. But we don't do that. We fast harder. We do carnivore harder. We start eating tons of meat, which you can't get energy from meat, not adequate energy. It's either got to come from carbs or ketosis or fat. Either or. So the problem is a lot of you guys have tanking thyroid hormones that aren't being produced. And you can go ahead and take the stupid thyroid panels and tick normal and still have hypothyroidism. So be careful with that. When you take iodine, now your body is overstuffed with substrate to make thyroid hormone. It can flip on that switch and start producing too much thyroid hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone, and now you have too much thyroid hormone flipping through the body, and now you can't put on weight, and you're going cuckoo, and you are at risk of thyroid nodules and thyroid cancer when you're hyperthyroid. I've seen 4 women while doing these low-carb diets taking Lugos in their coffee or taking it for too many years and not balancing their iodine with selenium, because the difference between eating seafood and Lugos iodine is that it's more concentrated. And now you can put in a bunch of drops. Drop. Iodine, iodine, iodine. In seafood, you got to deal with the meat, the fish, the fats, if you're having, like, say, salmon or something of this nature. But when you're having Lugos, it's just straight iodine in your coffee, which you shouldn't drink anyways. And more people, just like on carnivore, people are developing high B12. They were developing hemochromatosis, high iron levels. But people taking Lugos now are developing hyperthyroidism. Not everyone. And if you're hypo, you're more at risk of it. But I've also had a woman that I coach have not be diagnosed nor have any hypothyroid symptoms and develop hyperthyroidism from taking Lugos. Stop taking Lugos. Go to shellfish, salmon, any seafood high in iodine and selenium, shellfish, oysters. That's what you want to do. And if you are having a histamine response, then maybe you can do a sea moss gel or kelp. If you're having a problem with seafood, as in animals, kelp or sea moss with liver, which is high in selenium. Those two minerals must balance. That's the problem with taking Lugos. You're taking high concentrated levels of iodine and then selenium. And then you guys are taking selenium pills. No. Mother Nature knows what it's doing when it has iodine and selenium in oysters, perfectly balanced those minerals together. Yeah, that's the best way to give your thyroid what it needs in terms of the minerals. What's really appalling is that ketogenic doctors, the opposite of light is, or no, not light, the of light bulbs, when you want to crank it up so you have more light. Yes, this doctor, I don't want to say her name because I'm not trying to stir up anything. Oh, Lugos is no problem. That is a farcity. It's processed. It's not chemical. Lugo or potassium iodide is coming from natural form, but it's very concentrated. We've got doctors saying eat butter before bed. We've got doctors saying take potassium iodide in drops. And are they not paying attention to the people developing hyperthyroidism? That's dangerous. And the potential of cancer and nodules and just completely blowing out your thyroid and developing Graves' disease. You saw what happened to Wendy Williams. You don't want that happening to you. Stop with the Lugos. It's dangerous, dangerous, and dangerous. If you guys want to learn more, go to stephanieperson.com, or you can join my course page where I write all this stuff out so my members can actually get the details of hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's, what foods you need to consider, how your body needs vitamin C from liver, vitamin D, your whole B complex, what foods you need to eat to balance your thyroid, to get into ketosis, or if you're doing low carb, high fat because of your gallbladder, how to navigate through these diets. You can also book a consultation and talk to me one-on-one, or you can go to my Instagram, which is Stephanie Ketogenic, my Facebook fan page, which is Stephanie the Business Person, and we're all learning. I'm still learning. I haven't figured it all out, but I sure have learned a lot through my people. It's pretty darn awesome. So, I am now officially 57, on my way to 58, 17 years and counting on a ketogenic diet, and yes, it comes with problems, and I'm here to help you navigate through it, and I'm out.